Day one of the Las Vegas Raiders rookie minicamp is official, and we're going to talk about some of what we saw coming out. There's a ton of videos that the Raiders reporters have officially put out there, which we're going to get into today. So many different things we're seeing coming out. Ashton Genty, Jack Bash, Darien Porter, right? Guys are out there, right? And one of the things that some of the beat reporters that are at the Raiders camp are reporting right away is that the energy just feels different, right? Like they're quick, they're fast paced, they're being just explosive out there and they're competing. And this is something that multiple reporters have now at this point stated, right? You guys can see some of these videos. These guys are going super quick through the drills here. Raiders minicamp is officially underway, man, which means football seasons. I guess football doesn't really end, truth be told, right? Year round, there's always something that's kind of happening. But I'm excited, man, because the Raiders have a ton of really, really high upside rookies this year specifically. I think John Spytek did a phenomenal job bringing in so many guys that have the potential to actually make the roster, and never overlook the UDFAs and the rookies, right? Obviously, everyone's going to always look at the drafted players, but remember, it's a whole new regime, brand new scheme, brand new system. We're going to see guys cut that we would not have previously thought would be cut, right? Guys like Tyree McAllister could get cut, right? Guys like Trey Tucker could be traded, right? We don't really know, right? Because it's a completely different scheme and system. And Chip Kelly's going to want to bring his own guys in. But anyways, let's just get right into it, man. There's so many things that are kind of coming out. And shout out to every single one of these reporters. You guys, I will put the links down in the comments below to every single one of the people that are posting that are actually at camp covering the Raiders. Go follow them, man. Go support the work. You guys can see all these videos live as it kind of happens. Ashton Genty, man, has reported to the Raiders rookie minicamp. And this guy looks good, man. There's some videos, which we'll get into here in a second, where this guy's moving. And you see that elite movement, right? You definitely see that elite movement. But here he is. He's out there essentially running. It's obviously all a part of the warm-ups. You see some of the other guys that are kind of there as well. There's some guys here that are numbered that aren't probably the right number, right? Because we don't really know every single guy that actually got that minicamp invite. There's a tackle, for example, that is at a Hawaii, Luke Felix, who got the invite to come to the Raiders minicamp. I don't think he's been actually officially reported anywhere, right? So there's guys that are going to be at minicamp that might be wearing numbers that don't actually belong to them, right? But you do see some of the guys that are kind of listed here. You got 64 here. Jared Hufford, number 64. He's a guy that we brought in. He has upside. This guy's played center. This guy's played guard. He definitely looks like one of those interior offensive linemen. 6'3". He's officially listed at 6'3", 322. I think 68 is a D tackle. A couple other guys as well, right? It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Raiders, man. It's going to be really interesting which guys end up getting cut, which guys end up staying. I do think the Raiders are going to end up with multiple guys released or traded that we will not have otherwise thought, right? Ashton Genty, just kind of sticking with him. There's some actual team drill stuff that has come, not team drill, but like bag stuff specific to Ashton Genty. The last one you guys saw was obviously just him warming up. I mean, look at that movement right there. Holy crap, man. I remember watching the Raiders running backs last season, right? In this, the non-padded portion, right? Like this part basically, but like the veterans, right? Not the minicamp, but like, OTAs and those type of things. Nobody that the Raiders had last year moved like that, right? That right there is special. Like I remember watching like Zamir White and Amir Abdullah and those guys run through these drills, and those guys just look slower, right? That's not the case with the guy like Ashton Genty. You can just see that movement, just really, really, really impressive. And look at that, man. That fake to Ashton Genty's left, right, and back over here to the right. The processing, right? The coach takes that step to the right. He's telling Genty, "I want you to go the other way," right? Just that's impressive as hell, man. This guy's going to be such a special football player for the Raiders. I'm so excited to watch Ashton Genty, man. This guy's going to be an absolute superstar. And he's going to take our offense to the next level. And you see it, right? You see the movement. You see how this guy's able to, on this one, spin as well, right? It's elite, right? This guy's going to be really, really, really elite. And I think the Raiders are going to have a legit running back room this season. Even Raheem Mostert, for example, I think is better than what people realize. He's not going to be the number one running back, so he's not going to get 200 carries. But if Mostert gets 50 touches, that's 50 touches where this guy can average 6-7 yards a touch. one of those 50 might be a 60-yard touchdown. 7 of those might be less than 5 yards, but the others might be 8 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, right? Mostert's explosive, and he fits the Chip Kelly scheme especially really, really well. So I think the Raiders will have a much better running back room, and we don't really know what the room's going to kind of develop into. Last year we had some running backs that I think had some upside, but never really got that opportunity. Sincere McCormick's a guy that I think, obviously he ended up getting hurt, but in the games he did play, he looked pretty good, right? Even a guy like Dylan Labe had shown us some upside coming out. The speed elements, right, for him, just wasn't able to really adjust to it. But, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, right? And when you are able to adjust to it, maybe it'll click for you, right? I think the Raiders running back room will be a lot better this season than in the past seasons. I think there's a little bit of upside in that room. Another room that has some upside is going to be the quarterback room. And I think this is just going to be a lot better than last year. It's crazy because some people have talked about how our secondary may have downgraded from last year, maybe even our linebackers. But people overlook that our offensive line is going to be a lot better this year. Our running backs room's better. Our receiver room, right, is arguably better, especially given from the time we moved off of Devontae Adams. Our tight end room is 1 year older, right? Everything this year is better. The quarterback room's better, right? Cam Miller has a ton of upside. So some people really, really, really like Cam Miller. We had heard that Tom Brady apparently said that this guy has the potential to continue to improve, and he has high hopes. And you see Cam Miller right here, right, wearing number 5. I am excited to see what this guy can actually develop into. I don't expect Cam Miller to play a whole lot for the first 2 seasons. Maybe he'll play a little bit in preseason this year. He might struggle a little bit, right? But I'm excited to see what this guy does this year and then kind of how he develops, right? You see him kind of drop the football right there. I back that up. You see him drop the football right there. Kind of a low snap. That's a bad snap right there by the snapper. Come on, coach. Yeah, I do a little bit of a better job right there. It's a little low, but I think the Raiders have some upside in the quarterback room this year, right? I want to see what Cam Miller can do. I know people are high on Aiden O'Connell still. I don't get it, man. I really, really don't understand that. That's one of the things that just doesn't make sense to me. It's so easy to bait Aiden O'Connell because he can't move, right? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the Raiders room kind of develops as we kind of go forward. There's some other videos I kind of want to get into as well. Another rookie that the Raiders brought in this draft, this is a guy that we actually drafted, is going to be cornerback Darien Porter. And Vincent Monsnor, shout out to him, put this video out there saying that cornerback Darien Porter is every bit a long, lengthy athlete. You can definitely see that in this video. I mean, this guy's tall and he's long. I mean, just compared to some of the other guys right there, right? And Porter's number 26, if you guys can't tell. You can just see it, man. This guy's long. He's lengthy. I think he's listed at like 6'3.5". He ran, I forget what it was, but I believe he ran in the 4.3s, right? Which you don't run that being that big, right? And I think this guy's going to have the ability to potentially be a special player at the next level, especially if he develops right and if the Raiders put him in position to, be a specific scheme, right? If Darien Porter comes in and he learns the Pete Carroll scheme, and then next year Pete Carroll's fired, and then now he has to learn the Robert Saleh scheme, and then the year after it's the Kyle Shanahan scheme or whatever, right? If this guy goes scheme to scheme to scheme, he'll bust out. But if he's able to stay in the Pete Carroll scheme for 3 years, I think he's gonna have some potential, right? He's still kind of unknown. There's a lot that's not known. He played less than 700 snaps in college. That's crazy. You don't generally get that, right? And this year specifically, he was one of the highest graded zone cover players. And you just see it with Darien Porter, right? Definitely see it with Porter. I did a film breakdown on him. The film wasn't probably all that good, right? I don't really do corners, but from what I see, right, the guy looks good, right? And you can see that length. You can see the athleticism. You can see the movement as well, all on this guy's tape. I know people are going to say, hey, the Raiders cornerback room downgraded from last year. I think a lot of people say that, not factoring in that, hey, the scheme is a big factor as to if a cornerback room is going to be good, right? And I think with a guy like Darien Porter, the coach that he gets, right, the defensive backs coach, the defensive coordinator, the head coach, right, just the different coaches on the defensive side could actually allow this guy to be a really good football player. We saw Jacorian Bennett break out last year. Who thought Jacorian Bennett was going to break out last year? Even his rookie year, if you guys remember, Jacorian Bennett they were saying, hey, he's starting right now for the Raiders. And he wasn't 100% comfortable with the speed elements of things, right? And he ended up getting benched at some point. Week 1, 2 came around. He wasn't the starter for the Raiders, but he was starting over camp, right? Like he was the first guy that was kind of thrown out there. And again, Patrick Graham knows how to pick him. He knows how to develop him. And I feel like this year, Darien Porter is kind of handpicked. So if Pete Carroll can mold this guy into what he wants, I think the Raiders have themselves a starting caliber corner. And again, I know on paper it might look worse, but I do think guys like Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Paul-Mal can continue to develop, and with Chin specifically, he's kind of where he's at, but the scheme fits him right. I think with some of the other guys like Eric Stokes, right, a fifth-year player, long, lengthy, maybe a zone-heavy scheme can also kind of benefit him as well. We don't know what Trey Taylor and Chris Smith can develop into, right? Both guys the Raiders drafted in the past 2 to 3 years. So we'll see, right? We'll see. I don't think the Raiders cornerback room is as bad as some people think. Defensive backs, generally speaking. You got another video here. You got wide receiver Dont'e Thornton and Tommy Mellott. Both guys are going to be running drills. Thornton looks huge, man. I think he's like 6'4", ran a 4.3. This guy is massive, man. Look at that. Look at just how long and lengthy this guy is. Now, I don't know if this guy's going to be a good wide receiver. We'll see, right? But there are reports that the 49ers apparently wanted this guy. Apparently, they were trying to jump in front of the Raiders. And remember, this guy was the 4th pick in the 4th round. So he was basically a 3rd-round pick, right? Like, you can make the argument he's basically a 3rd-round pick. I mean, he might not have been the 4th pick in the 4th round. He might have been like 7 or 8. But he was a top 10 pick in the 4th round. And you see the size, right? You see that trait. And you see Tommy Mellott as well right after Dont'e Thornton running his routes as well. Tommy Mellott could be another interesting player. Some people have compared him to a guy like Taysom Hill. That definitely makes sense, right? He can play quarterback. He can potentially play running back. He could potentially play wide receiver. He could be a slot guy for the Raiders. The Raiders are adding a bunch of different talents. They're adding a bunch of different roles, right? Never overlook the fact that when you bring in a group of guys, you might have Trey Tucker that runs deep routes, and then you might have a guy like Dont'e Thornton who can also run deep routes, but Thornton can also get those 50-50 passes. And then you have a guy like Jack Besh as well. Jack Besh might be a better route runner underneath, or he might be a guy that can run those post routes and catch it, skinny posts, 15, 20, 25 yards, and catch it in the middle of the field. Then you have Jacoby Myers, who has the best hands in all of football. You throw him a pass, he's going to catch that pass, right? The Raiders are bringing in weapons that can do different things in that receiver room. And that does not even include some of the guys we already have on this roster. I always say this, although we never really got to see it actually happen last season, we have some talented players, right? Tyreek McAllister. I think he played in I know he played in the preseason. I think he might have even played in the first couple of games last season. He might have gotten hurt. McAllister had some explosive plays for the Raiders last year. We had some other guys like Keaton, right? Ramal Keaton, who looked really good in preseason as well. We don't know what these guys can develop into. UDFAs always develop, right? And they get better, and you just never know the upside of certain guys. Jacoby Myers was a UDFA, and he's one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. We've seen guys go, they're not first-round picks, like Cooper Kupp, for example, have a arguably, probably not Hall of Fame, but he's been an absolute star, right, over the course of his career. Antonio Brown was not a top pick, right? So you've seen wide receivers that do have success. And I think, wide receivers is one of those, if you want an offensive tackle that's a starting caliber, all-pro caliber player, you got to take him in the top 20 picks. Receivers, you can get an undrafted guy and he can be a top 20 wide receiver, right? It's just weird how receivers are kind of built like that. And you got a bunch of different receivers here. We try going through some of this list. Dont'e Thornton's going to be the first guy. Explosive, right? Tall, long, lengthy, explosive. You got I believe it's number 19 right there is next. 19 is Tommy Mellott. You see him running routes as well. You got I believe that's 82. So you got number 82 here. I have no idea who number 82 is. He might not even be listed. That's a rookie out of Illinois, Zachary Franklin. And I think that next guy was number 14. Number 14 is Carter Bradley, quarterback. I don't think that number's right. Let me go back and confirm that. Yeah, that's definitely not Carter Bradley. So yeah, some of these numbers are not going to be right. All right, so as you guys watch these videos, just kind of keep that in mind. Some of these numbers are definitely not going to be right because you just don't have enough numbers, right? You're going to have 90 players when the actual... Here's Zach Besh, by the way. Runs pretty nice feet right there. Very, very, very quick out of his route. But keep in mind, you can get 90 players to go to camp. Minicamp is going to bring in like 30 extra players, right? Essentially rookies that you're going to try out, right? A third of these guys are going to actually go to the actual next step. 2/3 of them are going to be gone, right? They're not coming back. So there's numbers out here. We don't really know who a lot of these guys are. So you got some wide receivers running routes. Jack Besh is going to snag a pass in rookie minicamp. I think Besh has so much potential, man. I'm excited to watch what this guy can develop into. Especially given the fact that the Raiders were willing to trade back twice. And keep in mind, I'm sure the Raiders already knew, hey, we want Jack Besh. That's the guy we want. And they knew that this was the guy they wanted, and they were willing to trade back twice. And some people even think they reached a little bit to bring in Besh. I don't necessarily agree with that, right? I think that's subjective, right? He has potential. He has upside, right? There's definitely something to this guy's tape. I'm excited to see what this guy can develop into, right? Here's a list of some of the guys that the Raiders brought in, right? They did sign 15 undrafted free agents. I don't know the number-wise, right? It doesn't really have these guys all listed. But there you guys have it, man. That's day one of the Las Vegas Raiders rookie minicamp. We're going to get so many updates coming out as we kind of go forward from this point forward. Obviously, the Las Vegas Raiders have a couple more days left, right? I think there's 2 or 3 more days left of rookie minicamp. They're going to get out there. They're going to kind of get into it. And then in June, they'll have where like the entire team kind of reports. They'll have that. And then they'll have a couple weeks off before training camp actually begins. And we're going to get a lot of things kind of coming out, right? Ashton Genty speaking today after practice. Jack Besh, I think, speaking. And then the offensive lineman we brought in, Caleb Rogers, is also going to end up speaking. So we'll see what ends up happening as we kind of go forward. So many interesting things are coming out. Let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.